We're going to take the North and never give it back.
So that's a good pick. You get the corner. I got to go bold, right? I got to go bold for this.
Yeah, she's got some nice.
Welcome back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Barron. Make sure to like and subscribe out there on YouTube and rate the show 5 stars everywhere that you get your podcast. What is going on, Bears fans? Today, the Bears brought in, or actually technically yesterday, the Bears brought in Kevin Byard, the safety, and we're going to be breaking down why that is actually one of my favorite signings that the Bears could make. Now, it's as the time of this recording, there's nothing official, but I want to just break that down and also talk a little bit more about the safety position and what I think that the Bears should ultimately end up doing. Also, just a reminder, we will be live tomorrow at 7:30 on YouTube to break down more of these free agents because in 2 days, we're going to see Free Agent Frenzy on Monday. I cannot wait. But let's get this show on the road, shall we? So, the big news of the day, as reported by Ian Rappaport, the Bears hosted free agent safety Kevin Byard on a visit yesterday. Source said the former All-Pro was with the Titans his entire career until traded to the Eagles last season. So Kevin Byard, a lot of people know who Kevin Byard is, but I still think that he's one of the more underrated safeties throughout his career, because when you look at him statistically and just all throughout the years, he's been one of the better free safeties in the league. Now, just looking at like PFF grades, right? Last year, he was a 74. He graded as a 74. Before that, 79.5, then a 90, which is 90.2, which is elite, 67, 76.7, 87.9, 87, and 68.5 his rookie season. That's really good. And that's very consistent play, because for those that are watching out there on YouTube, you'll see this, that the only season he did not play more than 1,000 snaps was his rookie year. Very, very consistent safety that's been healthy and that has been out on the field. He is 30 years old, so he will be 31 when this season does go underway. But to me, like I've mentioned, I'm a big fan. And if you're not, or if you are, let me know down below if you want the Bears to sign him as a free agent. The other thing that I want to just kind of bring some attention to is just his ability to tackle. He's known for being a free safety. He's known for making a lot of plays on the ball. But if you just look at his missed tackle percentage, last year, 4.7 missed tackle percentage. Very, very good at this free safety position. 4.7 the year before that, 5.6 the year before that, 4.3, then 3.9, then 6.9. So he really only struggled his first 2 years where he was at 13.5% missed tackles. Honestly, very, very, very good in consistent safety. That's why I am a big fan. He can bring down the ball carrier. He's good in coverage, and he fits more of that free safety role that the departure of Eddie Jackson really misses. So that's why I'm very high on Kevin Byard. But let's continue talking a little bit about why would the Bears bring in a vet over maybe a younger player. I know Xavier McKinney is a lot of people's favorite. And I know then there's also Geno Stone, who's a lot younger. Then there's also even, I'm blanking on the name, the safety, Julian Blackmon out of the Colts, that the Bears might also want to bring in too. But why would the Bears actually want a veteran? Well, we talked about this a little bit yesterday when we were breaking down the Jalen Johnson contract. When we see that, okay, they took some money out of this first year, and then now where he's 13 this year, $13 million cap hit from Jalen Johnson's contract this year, and then it goes all the way up to 21 the following season. What that kind of signaled to me that I mentioned was it feels like they might want to try and bring in a veteran of some sort to then fill a role somewhere else, and then hopefully have a rookie that can then develop and then ultimately be that starter. So that's the reason why I really like bringing in like a Byard or some of these other veteran safeties rather than someone younger that you want to have longer term. Because then the Bears might be thinking, and this is what I would do, I would try and develop a safety that you draft this year, but have the veteran be able to start. And if that rookie needs to come in, whether someone gets injured or something like that, then you can bring that rookie in. That is just my 2 cents, but that is why I'm kind of a big fan of this, because you do have 60, like we mentioned last episode, $63 million in cap space, according to SpotRack. So that's something you can play around a little bit with this money. And Byard really has not shown much signs of aging at that safety position. Also, it is nice to have a true veteran in that secondary room. Veterans do help out the younger players with how to take care of their bodies. Also, just understanding of the defense and just bringing that tribal knowledge. That's why I also really like Byard and bringing in one of these true veterans. You have Andrew Billings on the front line that can help out the younger players. And then having Byard in the back end, I really, really like that idea. But also, too, what would he potentially cost? According to SpotRack, they're projecting about $7.2 million. That's the only thing that I'm a little bit, it's not a bad price tag, but when you consider a Geno Stone projected to get about 6.5, now Byard is a better tackler than Geno Stone. We've said this before. Geno Stone, even though his name sounds like he's a good tackler, he's not a good tackler. He's actually one of the worst tackling safeties in the league. Kevin Byard, very good tackler and also very good in coverage at 7.2. They're projecting potentially 2 years on that deal. But it could just be a 1-year deal, just like we said, as more of that stopgap. Now, it's not just Kevin Byard, though. I think ultimately that the Bears have their pick of the litter when it comes to safeties. Actually, the entire NFL has their pick of the litter when it comes to safeties. Just looking at this list that I have out there, if you look at the left-hand side, and I'll say this for the people that are listening, on the left-hand side, these are more people that are, I'd say, more scheme fits. And then on the right-hand side, there are more people that I don't really see as super fits to the scheme. Micah Hyde, Jordan Whitehead, and Mike Edwards, I think, are more fits of the scheme, but we really need more of that free safety type of a role. So that's where you see some of the different free agents, like Xavier McKinney, Quandre Diggs, Justin Simmons, Kevin Byard, Julian Blackmon, Geno Stone, Darnell Savage, Tracy Walker, and Jordan Fuller. And that's where I kind of want to know who's everyone's favorite. Xavier McKinney, the thing that I don't necessarily love is that he will have the highest price tag, most likely out of any of these safeties. And Brad Spielberger projected it out to just about, I think it was $12.75 million a year. So a pretty hefty price tag for a safety. Do the Bears want to pony up that type of money, or do they want to go with more of the short and sweet types of deals? But like I said, lots and lots of options at the safety position. So if they decide not to go with Byard, there's a lot more people that they can go with. And I think ultimately, the Bears don't have to necessarily rush into a safety unless they really do feel like this would be the absolute option that they want to go for. So for me, I like this. I like the idea of trying to bring in Kevin Byard and then drafting someone. And obviously, all the signs point to that the Bears are going to be trading Justin Fields. I did this in a mock draft just for fun. And when I traded Justin Fields, I got a second. And then what did I do with that pick? I ended up drafting a safety. And with the safeties, there's a lot of different safeties that the Bears could potentially get. Tyler Nubin, Cameron Kitchens, Javon Bullard, Kalen Bullock, Jaden Hicks are all some of the safeties at the top of the list that you could get kind of in that day 2 type of a range. Yet again, what can you get for Justin Fields if you were to trade him away? To me, I think that pick they could use for a safety that you can then develop. And then yet again, that is your safety moving forward after the year is over with the Kevin Byard. That is one of the big reasons why I like the idea of doing that, because safeties, with all the advanced stats and stuff like that, the value of safety, people are saying it's less and less and less. I like having a good center field safety. I like having the ball hawk in the back out there. So I like the idea of at least drafting someone and then having that veteran. But also, too, just for those that are curious, these are actually my rankings. I have Tyler Nubin, the safety out of Minnesota, as my number 1 safety, and I have him going in. To me, he's a round 1 talent. I really like how rangy he is out there. Then my late day 1, early day 2 types of players, Cam Kitchens out of Miami, and Jaden Hicks, the safety out of Washington State. Low key, really good. I know a lot of people aren't super high on him. He's really good. He's very, very fun to watch. Day 2, Cole Bishop, Kalen Bullock, Javon Bullard. And then, you already know, late day 2, early day 3, Dadrian Taylor Demerson out of Texas Tech. I think the Bears might really like him. Not a great tackler. That's his biggest downside. But There's a lot of very good safeties out there that the Bears could be looking after, and that's why I really like it. But let's talk a little bit about this defense, because right when this starts going out, I start to get excited about the Chicago Bears defense, because I think we could have an absolute stud of a defense if we were to go this route. And when you look at what the Bears could do with the draft, and that's why I like the veteran, and I'm going to sound like a broken record over and over again saying that, because I do think that it's incredibly valuable, whether they do end up going with an Xavier McKinney or anything like that, having that safety, that true free safety that can play the middle of the field. You know, we play some cover 3. I know that it's typically a cover 2, but with the different variations of coverages, we need that true deep safety, while Brisker, I think, is more of that box safety, but he can play a little deep. He's not bad at it. But when you look at this defense, this is where I get excited with the free agency coming up. If the Bears sign Kevin Byard, you have Byard and Brisker in the back. And then your corners, Gordon, Jalen Johnson, Stevenson, your linebackers, Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, right? You feel really good about that. Then you look up front. And this is where this is just my vibe, my feeling that the Bears would do. I feel like the Bears might try and sign someone on the defensive line and then draft whoever the opposite is. Rather, they're going to be looking at defensive tackles or defensive ends, and then whichever one they didn't get, then draft them with the number 9 pick or trade back from the number 9 spot and get, like, if they go Danielle Hunter as their defensive end, they go Johnny Newton out of Illinois or Byron Murphy out of Texas and are able to trade back and then pick up one of those players, right? I think that would be a smart decision for the Bears, just to try and solidify this defense. And you still have some epic defensive players. So what I did for the defensive line, just for this little fun display, is the Bears draft Jared Verse with their first round pick. They could trade back a little bit if they want to. They drafted Jared Verse because I think Dallas Turner would go to Atlanta at 8. And then Andrew Billings. And then Christian Wilkins. I know, a fan favorite. A lot of people really want him, myself included. I would rather have Chris Jones, but I still feel like he's going to stay in KC. But Christian Wilkins as the defensive tackle on the other side. And then Montez Sweat. That is a really, really good defense. Like, if the Bears just have to score a touchdown a game and they'd win. Right? This is a phenomenal defense that I think Matt Eberflus would absolutely love, because when I think about what the Eberflus defense needs, they need a 3-tech. They need that stud at defensive tackle, and I think Wilkins gives it to them. But then when you have the deep safety in Byard, I think that this defense would be really freaking good. And then you can draft someone to develop behind Byard. I really like the idea. I know that I just kind of took hey, they just started talking to Kevin Byard and just kind of ran with it. But this is why free agency is so exciting. And that's why tomorrow we're going to be breaking down the best people that the Bears could be signing. So you want to make sure to like and subscribe so you do not miss a single show. Hope you enjoyed this. And Unbearable Sports Podcast, we are out.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair and